Okay, we are on the air. Yep. And thank you all for coming today and listening to what I got to say. My work is it's an interesting one, yeah, because I have a lot of history in Tibet and India and other parts of the world, going back thousands of years, and I initiate religion. I initiate spirituality. I initiate people's relationships with God by being the incarnation. And I help, yeah. But that's the only thing I do. I mean, I work with developing sciences, technologies, advancing humanity. Yeah, I do all that. But historically, I am known as the person who facilitates spirituality and helps people attain higher levels of consciousness, yeah, and hopefully turn this planet into a sacred planet, which it is not. And since it's not a sacred planet, your way that you're going to die and the way that you're going to live your life and the way things are going about, it's a suffering scenario, and it gets worse. Yeah, it's not conditioned toward harmony and happiness and peace and comfort and the outcome of everybody being equal and turning out all right. Yeah, it is a constant influence of the fact that we live in a duality. We live in a pair of opposites. Yeah, there is something called God. There is something called heaven. There is something called an angelic reality. Yeah, but in this material world, we are in a state of chaos, and we use a lot of illusion and delusion and expectation in the area of what we believe is going on, so we can continue for another year, we can continue for another 10 years, we can commit to a job, commit to a marriage, commit to life, just long enough to make it through. Yeah, commit to 12 years high school, commit to, getting through kindergarten, yeah, the whole bit. Every time things are put in front of you, it's unexpected. Yeah, you do not have a free life. Yeah, you're not here to just carry out your path. Yeah, and there's a lot that comes in front of us and affects us, and there's a process inside of humanity that is not spiritual. A lot of it, yeah. If you go to Seattle, yeah, you ask people, do you go to church? Do you believe in God? They'll go, no, I'm an atheist. I'm an agnostic. I'm homosexual. I'm bisexual. I used to be a man, now I'm a girl. Why would I want to believe in God? God condemns me for those things. Yeah. They know right out exactly what's going on. Yeah. They know they're going to hell, and they're bringing hell to earth. Yeah. But there's no way of verifying that now, is there? Well, all we had to do was wait 15 years. Yeah. And watch the news. And watch Seattle go up in flames. And watch it be taken over by drug use and people living on the streets and people completely dying. No one going to jail, no one going to prison. It's a Marxist situation. Yeah, it is communism. Yeah, it is what doesn't work. Yeah. And it's based on an experiment of people wanting to be gay, wanting to be liberal, liberated from this terrible thing called God. Yeah, that's a city where there's no God. Yeah, and everybody in it is dying. Yeah, all the people who have businesses are losing their businesses because in front of their business is a homeless person, hundreds of them, peeing at their doorstep, taking poops on their doorstep. It's everywhere in Seattle, everywhere in LA. Yeah. And look at other major cities. It's happening there too. And why? Because they don't believe in God. No God. Yeah. But they're open to satanic situations. Hey, you can make money if you're gay. Hey, you can make money if you want to be a prostitute. Hey, it's hard to make money out here. Let's sell our bodies. Yeah, let's sell our souls. Yeah, let's do drugs. Let's escape. Let's get into alcohol. Let's get into everything that is part of Satan. Yeah, everything that takes away our soul, takes away our life. Yeah, and these, by the millions, people are being led into it. A whole city of Seattle has been absorbed. Yeah, and there is no way out. Yeah, there's no saving grace for Seattle. Yeah, when that happens, and the city has decided, we're going to defund the police. Yeah, we're going to be the first place who does that. Because we're real smart. Look at us. See how smart we are? We let people shit on the street and don't do anything about it. We don't care about anybody. We're 100% selfish. 100%. Seattle. Drudge. Grunge. Heavy metal. It's where it came from. Seattle. Yeah? It's where the guy blew his brains out and married the craziest woman on planet Earth. Yeah? That's where shit like that happens. That's where you find the evilest people and you marry them and they talk you into sexual changes. Yeah? You have no idea what's going on. You have no idea. Yeah. But it's a symptom that is a fact. And we're losing cities. We're losing millions of people. We're losing a whole city. Go back 15 years ago. Before 15 years ago, what was Seattle like? Look at YouTube. You'll see people visiting Seattle, going to the fishery market, walking down the streets, yeah, going into Starbucks, actually be able to go into Starbucks. You can't go into Starbucks today. Yeah, there's people shitting on the street in front of Starbucks. Nope. Really nice Whole Foods, but who wants to walk across the whole area where people are pissing and shitting? Yeah, and doing drugs right in front of you. Why? Because you don't believe in stopping people from doing harm to themselves. It's liberal. It's liberating. Can you imagine that? Yeah. And that is millions of people in a whole city. And that is Earth. That's Earth. Imperiling Earth. A major portion of Earth. Where all the redwoods sit. Where all the devas have refuge. Yeah. Is in the location of Seattle. Yeah. The islands along Seattle. Vancouver. It's one of the most sacred zones of the Native American Indians. Yeah. But it's taken over by people who just simply are atheist and agnostic and alternative living people. Yeah. People who have... Seattle is signs everywhere with rainbows and everything and LBGTQ, KLMOP, everywhere. As though everybody's basically gay. The truth is, hardly anybody's gay. So how is it a whole city can act as though they're all gay? I mean, that's a lot of lying. Yeah? Or brainwashing. Yeah? Or a misinformation inside your spirit. And you think, well, I think we're all gay. So I'm for it. Because that's what the gay movement says. Every single person is gay. You just haven't come out yet. That's what they all say. They say God is gay, Jesus is gay, Moses is gay. Study it. Look on their websites. They'll tell you the making of the rainbow, yeah, by Moses, and where the rainbow came from, and how he was gay. There's a whole bunch of really gay, weird stories that reenacts the Bible as a homosexual book. That's great, isn't it? Yeah. And that's for people who just want to somehow take in the fact that they grew up Christian, now they're gay and all this. Now they have to integrate it. Yeah. You know, so it's a big lie. People are not gay. Very, 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 very few people are gay. And that's fine. Let them be gay. There's nothing wrong with being gay. As long as you're not a pervert. As long as you don't seduce other people by lying. And make yourself up a girl into a man. And get a straight girl to fall in love with you. Yeah? Just because you made yourself up to look like, but you're really gay. Yeah? And people who are pedophiles, and people who are rapists, and people who are manipulators, and people who go into this whole process of creating this gay, perverted reality, which is just an exaggeration of something that happens. Some people are gay. Yeah. Previous lives they were gay. In Rome, a lot of people were gay. What's going to happen after a whole continent becomes gay? They're going to keep reincarnating gay. And it's going to be very hard to get them to stop. The Knights of Templar were all gay. What happens if they reincarnate? Well, they probably become the priest of the Catholic Church. And they're pedophiles. Oh well, what can you do? It is what it is. Yeah. And it mainly stems down to perversion, because there's really no God. There is a God, but not in humanity. Yeah. This section of humanity is anti-God. Yeah. And you go right up to him, you ask him, do you believe in God? No. And they're very outgoing. No, I'm an atheist. And they'll go on and on about it. How you're an idiot, how you're, wow, wow. Harsh words. Pretty angry. Yeah. A lot of hate enters the earth, imperils the earth. It kills the flowers. It kills the children. It kills life. It begets homosexuality. Yeah. It begets people going around unconsciously buying as much plastic bags and bullshit and shoes and crap and having it turn into a world of disaster. Where fish are eating all the plastic that you threw away last year. Yeah. Thousands of whales are showing up on the shore, choking. Turtles choking. Millions and billions of fish, just floating. Coral gone. Yeah. And we don't have a lot of time to make this change. Yeah, the reason for me to be here is because I do what I do. You got your own shit. You got your own problems, but I do what I do. And I'm here for that reason. I'm the remedy, to this thing you got going on, which is Satan, people. You have no idea that there are large numbers of people who ceremonially practice Satanism. Witches, warlocks, assholes. Yeah, knowing hateful, evil people. And it's not a conspiracy, and it's not democracy or Democrats or Republicans or anything like that. It's just witches and warlocks. Satanist. Real live Satanist. Just like the one that lived in San Francisco. The guy who wrote the Bible of Satan. Yeah. Yeah. And many, many millions. Look online. It's a real thing. A real thing. Real ceremonies. Real events. It really affects people. Yeah. And a lot of people don't even know they're joining it. They just have friends who have friends who then insinuate you, move you into gay relationships, into things that are fellowship with Satan. Yeah. Oh, do whatever you feel like. You know? Don't let anybody stop you. Yeah. Be a free spirit. Yeah. Do as one wishes. Do as one wills. Yeah. And that is 100% Satan. Yeah. Because on the other side, it's like, I shouldn't have done that. And feeling conscience, you know, oh man, I'm going to learn from that. That makes me cry. That makes me sad. You know? That makes me understand what I did wrong. Yeah? That's a heart. That is a person who has God inside. Yeah? And you can ask him, what do you think? Do you believe in God? Yeah? They'll say yes. Yeah? But they're lost. They're still lost. Yeah? They're not sure about, you know, how do you get there, how do you know, or anything like that. But they have God. In previous lives, they had God. In this life, they have God. And they have a conscience. Yeah? If you don't have God, you don't have a conscience. And it leads to worse things. Worse things. Pedophilia goes way beyond not having a conscience. It goes to the activity of Satanism. And you have no conscience in relationship to it. You only have a desire body with no conscience. Yeah? And that leads into everything that puts people into prison, and it leads everybody into what makes them do the wrong thing. Have accidents on the road, be the worst person at work, you know, all the things that create chaos in life is the fact that people are without God. It's that balance that keeps us safe. Yeah. But it also has karma to it. We are a spiritual being, whether we know it or not. And that spirit's either going to be imperiling, yeah, or it's going to be dispelling by you feeling guilty, by you feeling sad. Yeah? Because you have a heart. If you don't feel sad, you know, it's one thing to feel guilty. You go, oh, that was bad. I'm sorry. No. But if it doesn't hit your heart, and all of a sudden you're just wailing, yeah, then it was more solar plex, feeling guilty, than it is the heart. So it takes a while, because it's not until that happens up here and a complete rainstorm starts taking place, does the cells break down. Because your heart is a rock. You know, this is all going to return. You know, it's steadfast. It's rock solid. Yeah? And that's what happens when God's not in there. God is an open-minded scenario, and it keeps you that way throughout your life. You know, but if that doesn't happen, then you become judgmental, critical, intellectual, more intellectual, more intellectual. Yeah? No matter how stupid you are, you primarily are intellectual. Even though you could be retarded, your primary instinct is intellectual. Terrible. Yeah? You know, so everything spiritually, you know, it's about whether or not we can help bring this. I need a drink of water. Enter a true spiritual scenario. So it takes 2 initiations, yeah, to overthrow the 2 Dark Lodge initiations, yeah, which happens in building a person's personality, Yeah, the makeup of a person's personality. Yeah, that becomes the 2 initiations that are on the other side. And you could become the greatest football player, the greatest basketball player. You could be a banker. You could be achieved different things, and you're actually achieving initiations, but it's on the dark side. Yeah, and nobody's telling you this because it's just what it is. It's materialism, God and the machine, and you're getting credit for it. Yeah, of intellectualizing it and taking tests and fitting in. Yeah, cog in the machine. Yeah, you're just fitting in more and more into the machine, into the cog. Yeah, and those are the first 2 initiations, and it's horrifying. Yeah, because it leads us into a world where we think we have all these egotistical, narcissistic people, all narcissists, loveless people who cannot get close to another person, who divorce left and right, who take people's money and all the things that go on in life, are the first 2 initiations, and that's our society. That sucks. This isn't another place. It's not a myth. It's not a, try and understand this, or something like that. It's real reality. It is it's the way things are. And they're there because we have a dark lodge existing. And people don't know the relationship of what would happen, if things could change. What would be the best outcome? Because everybody projects what would be an outcome if there was change. The communists think one way, politicians think another way, scientists think another way. But what if that changes peace? Yeah? What if it's peace? What if it's just peace? Yeah? What if it gives peace and then it gives insight? Yeah? And then it slowly but surely gives understanding. Yeah? But it can only be done if the person is in the other 2 initiations. The outcome is peace. These 2 initiations is pain and suffering, antagonism, setting up the picture, creating, putting in all the little things that it takes to destroy a planet. And that whole thing, it's like, oh, let's do this. This will destroy the planet. Let's do this one too, because that's in the picture of what destroys the planet. Oh, let's do this one too. That's in the picture of what destroys the planet. Yeah. Oh, we're close to getting real close to the complete destruction of the planet. Yeah. Oh, well, let's throw a Trump in there. Yeah. And on top of that, let's have a planetary virus. Yeah. That we don't control because we are non-spiritual. Yeah. And the majority of these people are afraid because they're treated very badly by non-spiritual people. We bring Mexicans into America by the millions, and we act like it's the worst illegal thing that's ever happened on planet Earth. Yeah. But yet, up until, we started thinking like that, in reality, they were the nicest people you'll ever meet. And they're not self-serving, it's horrible, but, they're here. And the reason why they do what they do is because they feel guilty, because they got here illegally, and they're lucky to have the little bit that they get. Yeah. Because it's not that easy to come here and stay here and get a job and not be treated shit for doing things that other people don't want to do. Yeah. The worst things in America are done by Mexicans. That's horrifying. Horrifying. And then you treat them, as though they're the worst of the immigrants on planet Earth. Yeah. Yeah. So what's going to happen inside these people? They're going to feel guilty. Yeah. And what happens when they get the coronavirus? Yeah. They're going to be afraid to tell somebody. Yeah. They don't have money. They don't have a support system. They're not getting checks from the government because they're not accepted in that way. Yeah. Yeah. Trump is all pissed off that they're even here. He's trying to weed them out as fast as he can. Yeah. And now they get a coronavirus. Yeah. And if you look at the numbers of these poor people, yeah, of all the people who died, of all the people who got it, over 30% of those people are Hispanic. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. Because there aren't that many Hispanics in America, over the 350 million people of America, and have that be that high of a percentage? Holy shit. Yeah. And it's because they have within them a guilt of coming illegally, and they're treated badly if they're ever caught, and they have it constantly over their head that we're going to change our mind, we're going to make this harder, going to destroy everything, don't even bother unpacking your bags. We'll take your children away and lock them up for years, which happens in cages. Mexicans. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, and it's very soulless. Yeah, the effect of it is that we don't treat these people, and we do the same thing to Native Americans, except the Native Americans are not going to go, we are such a low value, we'll do those non-valued jobs. No way. No, they are not in any way, shape, or form in a position to where they feel like they should be your maid. Yeah. Or they should be your gardener. Yeah. Or they should be of those positions in the grape yards or in the, all the fruit trees and all the hot sun and all the pesticides and everything that no one else wants to get near. And certainly the Indians don't want anything to do with it because it's inhumane. The whole process is inhumane. Yeah. And the moment you accept such a situation, you put yourself in such a terrible, devalued reality. Yeah. And they just simply will not go that way. Yeah. Because they have land. They have creativity. They have ability. They just want it back. Yeah. They want that back. Yeah. But these are the two groups, including black people. These three groups are the highest number of people of all the people who died of the coronavirus. They're the majority. Just 3 groups of people. And these are people we should really care about a lot. They're the native indigenous people of America. I mean, we have museums, We treat history as though it has value. Yeah. But people, no, we don't. Because this isn't a spiritual planet. And people are channeling from the left-hand side. Yeah. And they can't help it. Yeah. Because witches and warlocks are doing ceremonial magic that affects the ongoing creativity of anybody who wants to do whatever they want to do, however they want to do it. Yeah? Because it affects people's intuition. It affects people's ability to move forward. Yeah? So imagine, in order to help people get through these first 2 initiations, the outcome of it is peace. Yeah? And through that, it requires people to change position. Yeah. They have to, it's like, oh, I'm really into Trump. I'm really into Trump. Well, one day you got to stop being into Trump and then we'll be a better world. Yeah. Because you're crazy. You're crazy right now. You're crazy. And you don't know you're crazy because when you're crazy, you never know you're crazy. Yeah. And there's a lot of crazy people out there, and they're all satanically involved in a great big process of trying to keep people in a state of inertia and run backwards. Go backwards in time, literally. Go backwards in time. Look what Trump did. just as he's leaving the office, he decided he would pass a law. You know how we all like the waste management relationship of environmentalism, you know, like water conservation. You know, you're in California, Arizona, Nevada, dry, you know, where, you know, it's a drought. Farmers would like to have plants and stuff like that, but we don't have enough water, and people are watering their cars, and we all say, no, you can't do that, you know, and you can only wash one load a day, you know, and maybe take a shower every other day, you know. We're saying this in America. We're all saying this in order to help everybody, yeah? And we're asking, you know, let's get toilets that take 1/2 the water when we flush it. Please do that, would you? I'll buy it. And they did. That took 20, 30 years. From 1970 on, when we started this environmental change in society, we began technological changes in order to create solar, batteries, and different ways to give you longer miles in cars and use less water when you're doing things, and, you know, make things more efficient. You know, electricity, you know, light bulbs, all those things. That was our plan. Okay, they're willing to do this. Yeah, people are okay. They're willing to do this. Us ecologists, we did that, right? And we brought out, you know, into bathrooms, restrooms, where you come in and you put your hand over the faucet and the water would come out. We saved billions of gallons of water over a 2-week period. Billions of gallons of water, yeah. And then putting in faucets and putting in, you know, things in houses and selling people things like refrigerators that take electricity and washer dryers, you know, that take 1/3 the amount of water and half the amount of electricity, you know. And we're also, hey, you know, we're moving forward, yeah. This is a soulful world. We can have a smile, yeah. We're doing something for society, right? Well, here's what Trump did for society.
Americans. Yet as we head into the holidays and the final days of the Trump White House, don't say Donald Trump hasn't tried to do something to improve the quality of your life. Just today, his Department of Energy loosened up the water flow standards for shower heads, dishwashers, and washing machines. The standards will just be put back when Biden takes office, but you still have to admire Trump's determination, and you have to wonder, would we have 300,000 dead if he'd been this diligent, this persistent about our uncontrolled pandemic? Also note, as you watch the following, once the president believes something is true, it becomes a kind of repetition tick, and no amount of exaggeration is enough.
We have a situation where we're looking very strongly at sinks and showers.
You turn it on, no water comes out, right?
You know, the water's not coming. You got soap, you can't get it off. They take a shower and water comes dripping out. It's dripping out, very quietly dripping out. Drip, 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 drip. Drip, it's no good for me. And me, I want that hair to be so beautiful.
Sinks, right? Showers. And what goes with a sink and a shower?
People are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times.
10, 15, 10 times, right? 10 times. Wow, Bob, not me, of course, not me. But you, him.
Remember the dishwasher, you press it, boom, there'd be like an explosion. Now you press it 12 times. Women tell me, again, you know, they give you 4 drops of water.
10 times, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So they'll, you know, scoff and say, oh, who cares about that? Very big stuff. You know, these are big things. It's an easy word, but it's a very complicated word. When you think of it, it's called water. But these are things that no other president would be doing. No other president, frankly, would be even thinking about.
No shit.
Donald Trump on water pressure and an actual...
Yeah, that's real. It's not Saturday Night Live. You know, it's not a comedy hour or anything like that. This is your president changing history, going back, moving us back in time. Yeah. And, you know, all this will be changed. But the problem was that he didn't believe he was going to not be president. And you ain't seen nothing yet. You've seen nothing yet. Yeah. He was going to eliminate the process of slowing down the creation of fossil fuel products, plastics, anything that had to do with fossil fuel, slowing down the generation usage for coal to be used for throughout all states, slowing that down so that it would be produced and it would be used. Yeah, where we're in an evolutionary process of shutting down plants and shutting down this and that and creating alternatives. Yeah, but his program, yeah, first he stepped into office and he doesn't even go to Paris. He just says, no, we don't believe in it. This is all a sham, a big con, we're out. Okay, well, that's too bad. You know, but that slowed us down. For a long time, it slowed us down. And then he's moving on other things, you know, killing people, making sure that you can hang people, shoot people, you know. He killed as many people that has been killed in 200 years. Yeah. Yeah. Daily, people are dying, more people are dying daily than died in 9/11. Are dying today. Yeah. Just because of him. Yeah. And that is the ecological situation. Yeah. When holistic ways of dealing with things has to do with an ecological situation. Yeah. Ecological doesn't mean just planet. It's holistic. It's understanding that everything is connected to everything. Yeah. And you see it in a holistic way. And it has, ecology is a direct relationship to economy. Yeah. But it's also a relationship to human health. Yeah. So ecological goes directly with good human behavior, social behavior. Yeah. And this guy, here we are, we're going, yeah, well, I could definitely give up using so much shower time. I can definitely give up keeping the faucet on while I'm brushing my teeth, even though subconsciously I don't know I'm doing it. But now that I know that I'm using 75 gallons of water, it's probably a good idea. Now that I know that I'm using 700 gallons of water while taking a shower over an hour, it's probably a good idea. Because it's not a little shower, it's a big shower with a whole bunch of things coming at me. Because I can. Yeah. But there's another side of this thing in those initiations that allows you to see the temptation, see the obvious circumstances that are going on, and choose. No, I'm going to do less rather than more, even though I can. Yeah, I can buy a Tesla car and drive 160 miles an hour. Yeah, I can start from 0 to 60 and get there in 3 seconds and kill a lot of people. Kill myself. Yeah, because I can. Yeah. You know, everything is an opportunity. We can buy that car, but we do not have to drive it that way. Yeah. Just because it's there, you don't have to use it. Yeah. It's there for your safety. It's there for you to get out of a jam quickly. Yeah. Where a lot of times people die because they do not have the get up and go to get around that car and make that proper move. Yeah. So this was provided. Yeah. But there's another side of people that are this totally egotistical, non-thinking individuals that harm other people and put themselves in danger, you know, and go through this thing and take advantage of things that are out there. And they're out there, but it doesn't mean we have to use them. Yeah, because there's a world that's going on that we have to take really good conditions of change with very quickly. Yeah, we can't do this in 50 years. Yeah, we can't do this in 20 years. We can't do this in 10 years. Yeah, we have to really do this now, and we are. Yeah, it's just that there are certain conditions that are happening in society that has to do with this second initiation process inside the Dark Lodge. Yeah, and that's very much in a battle right now. Yeah, there is a spiritual battle. Yeah, and people in Seattle and people on the street, they are the outcome of that battle. Yeah, they're the the symptom of the disease that comes from the battle. Yeah, there's on that side over there, it's as though, oh, everything's going to be fine, no need to worry. Trump says it's all just fake. I hate windmills; they're never going to help anybody. All those stupid solar things, they're never going to help anybody. Those little lights, they don't help anybody. Yeah. All of that is because he is an atheist. He's an atheist. He has nothing to do with God. God happens to exist and he has to acknowledge that. That's what goes on. God is real. Yeah. And atheists are confronted with it. They don't like it. Yeah. So many of them say they believe in God, they go to church, and they go through this diluted reality to make people okay with them. Yeah. But they don't believe in God. He's a pedophile. How can he believe in God? Michael Jackson was a pedophile. He never believed in God, but he believed in dogma in relationship to God. So the religion he took was the most ridiculously stupid religion you can think of. He might have been a Scientologist. Yeah. But there was no relationship to God. It was a fanatical dogma. Only because he had to. It was in his family. It was mom's thing. It was his dad's thing. Yeah. If you're born a Jew, you're a Jew. You better deal with it. Yeah. If you're born in a Catholic household, it's hard to get out of that. Yeah. That's just how it is. But it doesn't mean anybody believes in God at all. Yeah. So for us to really believe in God, yeah, we have to commit to changing our emotional relationship to life. We have to develop a conscience as big as it can get, and we have to use that conscience not to be moved into gossip, not to be moved into swaying, what is this and what is that, trying to figure things out intellectually, yeah, just on an emotional level, yeah, because you can't forgive, yeah, easier to judge, easier to, to persuade an ideology, yeah, than to just let go and be charitable in that way, Don't try and figure it out, because that just adds more weight to the situation. Yeah, it's just more intellectual weight. Yeah, and no one is trying to work things out, but there is a thing over in that left-hand spin that focuses through every living human being. Yeah, so it's not about you joining the Dark Lodge or anything like that. You're affected by it. Yeah. And until we knowingly start taking these initiations and discern, discriminate, and choose to realize what's going on an emotional level at any time, and switch that to an understanding that this is not really going on. This is fixable. Yeah. This is not what I might think or how I may anything, because it's really coming from elemental qualities and characteristics that are persuading you to think that way. But it has nothing to do with the truth. Yeah? So in order to heal this thing in the world, we have to heal that delusions of grandeur that are inside that. Those first two initiations aren't everything. Yeah? But they're what creates peace in the world. Yeah? We'll all continue living if things go on the way it is. We'll continue living. But we will find that we're dying younger. You know, we're dying for reasons we shouldn't be dying. You know, look at things, go back 70 years ago and look and see how many people were fat. How many people were obese? Go back 100 years ago. There are videos of 1890, 1910. No obese people. Maybe 2%. Yeah. And it was mainly because they simply did not have the money. They did not have fast food. Restaurants weren't everywhere, you know. And they usually ate maybe 1-2 meals a day max, you know. And, you know, it wasn't cake and pastry and bakery and all the things that you would get in the stores that you would normally find from 1930, 1940, 1950, 1960, and people get fatter and fatter and lazier and harder to stop the addiction. That addiction, you do that for one lifetime, you come back, you're going to be an alcoholic. You're going to be so addicted to so many things because you lived a life of addiction. And all that happened was that you didn't deal with temptation correctly. There's something inside that tells you you should not eat that cake. You shouldn't eat that cake. It can't be good. It's too good. That's where the demons come in. Bitter things are good for you. Sour things are good for you. Things that you don't like are really good for you. Yeah? So normally the things that taste really great, like salt, sugar, things like that, will kill you. They will devastate your vital system. They will take you away from your path. Yeah? You know, so there's just this whole thing of our process being stuck in a mass system of people growing up, evolving, but they didn't evolve into the first 2 initiations on the right-hand path. They evolved into the first 2 initiations on the left-hand path. Yeah? And there's masses of people who are sitting in that probationary path who stay with God and are not willing to take those first 2 initiations on the left-hand path. They're not willing to do it. Yeah? They'll take a meager job. They'll take a trade. You know, they'll go, Dad, I can't do this. I don't want to do it. You know, I'd rather be an airplane pilot, you know, like Trump's brother. You know, man had a soul, you know. People go through hardship and go through hard times and make hard decisions, hard choices. Yeah, not easy. Not give me the $1 billion and I'll continue making $1 billion for the company. Easy job, no problem. All I got to do is lie and kill, murder people, destroy people's lives. Yeah, I got to be willing to do that. Yeah, that was Trump's situation. Yeah, and that's the way it is when you go up that ladder. Yeah, it's easier to steal, to take, to not be considerate of your employees and not be considerate of the people in your city, the people in your community. I mean, good Lord, you know. Yeah, there's a lot that's got to change for us to get over to this other side, yeah. And we have very, very little time to do it, yeah. I'm not thinking, you know, this is an apocalypse time, but it is basically kind of an apocalypse time, yeah. I mean, we've got the, you know, pretty crazy people doing pretty crazy things. We had a guy like Trump come along and we ousted him, but he, you know, who knows whether or not he's ever going to go away and stop having effects on humanity, which I think he's going to continue having effects on humanity, keeping people in stress, making more people like Seattle, you know, more people who are socialist and communist and anti-government and anti-police. They'll grow larger in numbers because he is influencing that to happen as an alternative coup, you know, going back into the 50s and the 30s and the 40s. He wants that, yeah, where it was easy to kill someone, yeah. It was easy to grab someone and say he committed treason and kill him right now. It was a lot easier in the 30s, 40s, yeah. when people were barbaric, where he came from. Yeah. And he did those things. And he wants to continue doing those things. And we allowed him to be in power again. Yeah. That really is bad karma, folks. I mean, bad karma to the planet Earth. And we lost the whole of the state of Washington. Yeah. We're losing Mississippi. Yeah. We're losing New York. We're losing LA. San Diego is looking kind of questionable. Las Vegas is gone. Yeah. Enormous numbers of places are being taken over by homeless people, drug addicts, people who are just completely off the system. Yeah. And are just, taking up, what we would think is our hard work. You build a house, you make a city, you make a business, you want to just go to work and do your thing, and people come, and it's all good. Should be like that. Always has been like that. We got people with tents outside buildings. Yeah. People pooping on the sidewalk. Yeah. The lack of conscience is growing. Yeah. And the influence of that energy is settling in to social systems. Yeah. And that's affecting enormously the amount of energy that will come into the future. And we have no idea things like that happen. We have no idea, that this is a blessing. You won't know this until you're done with all this, and I've gotten you back into the temple, and you're making food for people, and you're living your normal life, and you're a monk and a nun, and you're all back in the world the way you're supposed to be, and you're helping people who have fallen out of grace, but there's nobody yet who's ready for that one, So it's really quite a process for humanity to come to the place where they get out of the probationary path and take the first initiation. Yeah. And that means that the people who are in position, people who have the opportunity, their ability to transfer that lower mind, that lower emotional body, that lower way the personality reflects on things, where you get a anger, or you get, it's questionable, or you have a hook, from somebody or something or some place or some event. You have to heal that. You have to heal it fast. And you're going to heal it, because what I'm doing is helping that be healed by bringing it into the forefront. Yeah. But it has to be healed fast, because we do not have much time. No matter what Trump says, we don't have much time. There really is a problem. Yeah. And we have very little time. Yeah. You may love people today, and you may think, oh, this is terrible, this coronavirus. Imagine 30 years from now, many of us will still be here, and others will be reincarnated, and we'll be children, we'll be 20. Yeah? And we'll want to live on the coastline. We're going to want to live in areas that our grandfathers told about, that we saw in books, we heard existed. But the weather changes people badly. And there's no way to stop it. It is not going to stop. There's no magic in the magic zone. There's nothing to stop the Antarctic from breaking apart, melting, and raising the ocean 27 feet. 27 feet. That's the outcome. Yeah. And it's starting, at, temperatures rising 4, 5, 6. Yeah. And we can see the Antarctic in large chunks as big as New York. Breaking off right now. Breaking off. Places as big as Belgium. Breaking off. Right now, breaking off. Places as big as Georgia Island, which isn't too far from the Antarctica. Nearly the same size of that island. Broke off, made its way into the ocean, and is now laying up against the island. Yeah, and it's almost the same size of the island. When it melts, there won't be an island. These things, this Antarctic scenario is 70% of all the water on Earth. Okay? And it's frozen, waiting to dissolve and become liquid. 70% more water will be released on Earth. It's going to happen, people. It's happened before. It happens all the time. And we have ice ages, and we have this and that. But you must take the initiations, or you will be in the wrong place. You will committing yourself to suicide. And you have the opportunity, you have all the options, to learn your first 2 initiations, between now and 2050. Yeah. To complete that process. And that's really amazing. It would be 2 generations of people from this point in time. Yeah. That means at least the groups that's here now would reincarnate and be furthering the process. Yeah. But the change toward taking the second initiation is a dramatic thing. And that means that you have to have the Holy Spirit inside of you. So that I can overshadow you. Yeah. So you will not be attracted to the areas of doom and disaster, holding it in peril, drawing other people to it too, buying houses and land and selling houses and land, holding on to it as long as you possibly can. Yeah. We need those 2 initiations to further all of humanity to a point to where they stop being corrupt like that. And they make legal laws to where the land is zoned 20 or 30 years before this happens. No more houses built within a 5-mile zone of the ocean. That includes cities, New York, Chicago, Illinois. Yeah. And where there are lakes, Mississippi and others that go all the way into the middle of the United States, those will be filled up. We'll be having like oceans in the middle of the United States. Yeah. The United States will turn into large, vast cities and states of islands with lakes as large as 20, 30, 40, 50 miles. Easy. Yeah. Where's the water going to go, people? It goes where it goes. You can look over this planet right now and you'll see why the Grand Canyon is why the Grand Canyon. Because this happened before. When the Ice Age melted, yeah, and then the Ice Age developed, and we got dry, we got less water, yeah, and it became what it is. And we do not get this. We're too caught up in those first 2 initiations of not being with God, getting overshadowed in the sciences, getting overshadowed in every area of our abilities, so that we can make these decisions wisely, and be out of harm's way at all times. Not commit ourselves to save New York, not commit ourselves to save Donald Trump's little oceanfront plot. The billions and trillions of dollars, because it's going to be one of the first places it goes. And he's going to go crazy and get people, oh, you got to save me, you got to put an island around it. He's going to say shit like that. Everybody's going to say shit like that. Yeah. And our discernment, our discrimination, our wisdom, our telepathy, our intuition is going to save billions of people from enormous tragedies that will happen by natural disaster. Yeah. Very big. As water comes in, it keeps hitting up against the coastline. And the coastline falls into the ocean. You're sleeping at night. You have no idea this is going on. And you lose a quarter of a mile that night. It happens every day, but only by small amounts in certain places. But we've seen nothing yet. When the water goes up another 3 feet, which will happen over 10 years, because it has broken off. Incredibly, I think 1/4 or something of the Antarctic has broken off. So we're not in a good place. Yeah, I want to show this to you, and then we're going to pray.
Continuously surveyed much of
Can you see that?
the surface since the early 20th century, with a track of all the continent's ice shelves and their movements. In one such ice shelf, known as the Black Ice Shelf, they've recently discovered that an iceberg twice the size of New York City is poised to break away. A recent NASA release says that a crack has been growing at a rate of about 2.5 miles or 4 kilometers per year since 2012. The crack started from the southern part of the Brunt Ice Shelf and is steadily moving northwards and can soon meet with another growing chasm called the Halloween Crack. It was discovered in October 2016, growing eastward from the McDonald's ice rumples in the northern part of the ice shelf. Although the Antarctica's ice shelves are in constant motion, rising with the tides, splitting off icebergs at its edges and growing again as inland glaciers feed it. But this type of anomaly is not regular at all for the Brunt Ice Shelf, as there has been next to no activity within the ice shelf. The glacier in question is around 1,700 square kilometers, or about 656 square miles, making it the 5th largest iceberg in the world that's currently being tracked by the National Ice Center in Suitland, Maryland. This news has sparked various safety concerns for scientists in the area, especially ones in the British Antarctic Survey's Halley Station. What exactly is driving these massive cracks to form in Antarctica's ice shelves? And what would be the effect on the ice sheet itself if this crack led to a complete breakage? Let's look at a similar situation that occurred in the last few years. A similar giant crack was discovered in the Larsen C ice shelf in 2016. It was the 4th largest ice shelf in Antarctica at the time. Just imagine, it had an area of 17,100 square miles, or 44,200 square kilometers, which is an area larger than the state of California. But this crack was about to break off an iceberg with a length of 68 miles, or 110 kilometers, a width of more than 300 feet, or 91 meters, and a depth of 1,600 feet, or 500 meters. More mysteriously, by mid-2017, in less than a year, the rift had extended another over 20 miles or 32 kilometers to a point where only 2 miles or 3 kilometers of unbroken ice remained, and breaking was an absolute certainty. And in mid-July, the iceberg finally broke off from the Larsen C ice shelf, taking away almost 13% of the ice shelf with itself. And as of April 2020, scientists reported A68 has broken up into 3 pieces and is floating northwards towards open waters. When it broke, the iceberg was one of the largest ever, twice the size of Luxembourg, and weighed in at almost 1 million tons. What's driving these huge breakages in Antarctica? And is Antarctica safe for now? Scientists are still trying to figure out this anomaly. Smaller carvings of icebergs are regular occurrences all over the shores of the continent. These carvings are very much natural occurrences, as losing icebergs to the ocean is how these ice sheets maintain equilibrium, balancing the inputs and outputs from ice streams in and around them. However, such large carvings from major ice shelves are not consistent with the natural pattern at all. Such large carvings leave the parent ice shelves unstable and more susceptible to breakages. There can be various reasons for such phenomenon. One definite reason for such occurrences is the accelerated climate change due to the rise of greenhouse gases over the last few centuries. Since the Industrial Revolution, the concentration of carbon dioxide has been rising exponentially at a rate of about 0.17% per year. This change is primarily due to the combustion of fossil fuels, but also to large-scale tropical deforestation, which depletes the climate system's capacity for photosynthesis. Climate temperature changes depend on the variations in the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide controls temperature because the carbon dioxide molecules in the air absorb infrared radiation. The carbon dioxide and other gases in the atmosphere are virtually transparent to the visible radiation that delivers the sun's energy to the Earth. But the Earth in turn re-radiates much of the energy in the invisible infrared region of the spectrum. This radiation is easily absorbed by carbon dioxide. When the carbon dioxide concentration is sufficiently high, even its weaker absorption bands become effective and a greater amount of infrared radiation is absorbed. As it prevents its escape into space, the trapped radiation warms up the atmosphere.
Did you get that? It's important.
Experienced air increases of 3 degrees Celsius in the Antarctic. It's 5 times the mean rate of global warming, as reported by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. Over the past 50 years, the west coast of the Antarctic Peninsula has been one of the most rapidly warming parts of the planet. This warming is not only restricted to land, but also can be noted in the ocean surrounding it. Upper ocean temperatures to the west of the Antarctic Peninsula have increased over 1 degree Celsius since 1955. Thus, ice shelves in western Antarctica are particularly susceptible to warming oceans, as relatively warmer water eats away at the ice shelves floating over the ocean. Since 1992, it's averaged a net loss of 65 million metric tons of ice a year. One of the defining characteristics of West Antarctica is that the majority of the ice sheet is grounded on the bed that lies below sea level. When the
Sheet is attached to a bed below sea level. Ocean currents can deliver warm water to its grounding lines, the location where the ice sheet attaches to the bed. In some spots, the bed lies more than 1.5 miles below sea level. When these grounding lines start to retreat, ocean water can infiltrate between the ice and the bed and cause the ice sheet to float off its grounding line. Scientists recognized that this is the first step in a potential chain reaction. Ocean heat eats away at the ice, the grounding line retreats inland, and ice shelves lose mass. And when ice shelves lose mass, they lose the ability to hold back the flow of inland glaciers, meaning those glaciers can accelerate and thin out as a result of the acceleration. This thinning only leads to more grounding line retreat, more acceleration, and more thinning. In all this push and pull, sudden fractures can occur, leading to massive breakages of icebergs like the one currently taking place in the Brunt ice shelf. Once these icebergs break away from its parent mass, it becomes more exposed to warmer ocean currents and melts faster. And as more ice flows into the ocean every year, it leads to an eventual rise in global sea levels. This is the biggest fear among scientists with climate change. For example, the Amundsen Sea region of West Antarctica, which is the most vulnerable to the rise in ocean temperature, contains enough ice to raise global sea levels by 4 feet, 1.2 meters. The most recent UN Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report estimates that by 2100, sea levels will rise somewhere from just less than 1 foot to about 3 feet, or 26 to 98 centimeters. But the vast majority of these projections do not take into account the possibility of major ice loss in the form of massive breakages in Antarctica. The Amundsen Sea region is only a fraction of the whole West Antarctic ice sheet, which, if melted completely, would rise global sea levels by about 16 feet or 5 meters. This eventual sea level rise will have a profound impact on our civilization as we know it today. In the extreme scenario, if most of the Antarctic ice melts, the existing coastline of our present continents will be completely unrecognizable, raising the sea level by 216 feet or 66 meters. In North America, the entire Atlantic seaboard would vanish, along with Florida and the Gulf Coast. In California, San Francisco's hills would become a cluster of islands, and the Central Valley a giant bay. The Amazon Basin and the Paraguay River Basin in South America would become Atlantic inlets, wiping out Buenos Aires, coastal Uruguay, and most of Paraguay. Although Africa would lose less of its land to the ultimate sea level rise. However, in Egypt, Alexandria and Cairo will be swamped by the intruding Mediterranean. In the European continent, London would have been completely swallowed underwater. Venice will be reclaimed by the Adriatic Sea. Netherlands will have long since surrendered to the sea, and most of Denmark will be gone too. Meanwhile, the Mediterranean's expanding waters will also have swelled the Black and Caspian seas. Asia would be completely changed as well. Land now inhabited by 600 million Chinese would flood, as would all of Bangladesh and much of coastal India. But how to predict these sudden anomalies and whether these big carving will lead to a collapse of the ice shelf itself? At present, the anomaly under the Brunt ice shelf is still progressing, and both cracks are moving towards one another. This has allowed scientists to take some risks and monitor the process in great details. This research has already yielded a lot of new data and prediction models to further explain these anomalies under the ice sheets of Antarctica. That's all we have for you today, folks. Subscribe to our channel to keep getting videos exploring the latest scientific news around the globe. Also hit the notification bell so you're notified every time.
So, does that make sense? Yeah, I hope so. 200 and some odd feet is once it's done, you know, once the ice is melted and a large majority of it, you know, and 13 to 18 feet over within the next 30 years. You know, starting in that process, that's where things really start moving. But like they tried to explain to you is that once these things break away, you know, it doesn't happen immediately. Yeah, they're because of the current of the ocean and their melting process. As they get into the ocean, they melt considerably fast, and the more they move, they get into warmer climate. Yeah, and they melt faster. So there's really no understanding or control as to what's going on. It's a shock that such a large piece of ice had already broken off, and that was never expected. Small amounts off the edges, a little here and there as time goes on, hundreds of years down the road before anything that is big. But with the event of the year 2000 to the year 2011, and when we saw that breaking away and the cracking, and many shells were starting to really fall apart, yeah, then we thought, you know, this may be big sections falling off, which means that we would be moving within a 10-year period. If this happens, like it did, it happened only in a 5-year period. A 5-year period from seeing the crack to the time that it breaks away. That was supposed to take hundreds of years, yeah. And the only way they could figure it out was that, well, you know, we have a greenhouse effect and things are happening the way they say, but we didn't know that it was going to have that major effect on this exposure. But it is, yeah. You know, so we are in a place to where we have opportunity, you know, to make some major changes, and we have to make those changes. It's not about indoor plastic bag situation and all that, you know, but it's about all of that, you know. And we have to have real consciousness without emotion, yeah. You can cry all you want when you do the wrong thing, yeah. But when things need to be fixed and done, crying's the last thing that needs to be done, yeah. It's at that point you should start feeling strong, you know. This is an opportunity, yeah, to use your wisdom, to allow the Holy Spirit to come in and raise this thing up to change. And not under will or force or anything like that, but under understanding, yeah? Not really even compromising, yeah, but more complementing, yeah? Yeah, taking it in a way that it could be best understood, yeah? And it's all intuitive. Yeah, there's an enormous process for us to have to go through in order to get to this point. Imagine, you know, you should wonder, why am I here? You know, all this time, 2,000 years, you know, and it's hardly any place where you've noticed in history that I've showed my face, you know, that I've said, this is me. You know, I incarnated as Tsongkhapa, Padmasambhava, all those incarnations, and I never told anybody I was Jesus. Yeah, even as Tsongkhapa, I knew I was Milarepa. I knew I was many incarnations from before. Yeah, but I had to keep that to myself. And only in rare times did people actually see it when I was in meditation. They'd see me manifest in those forms. So they go, "Wow, he must have been Tsongkhapa. You know, wow, he looks just like Manjushri. He's sitting there in a full form of Manjushri. Yeah? So those things are real things in the consciousness of those initiations, higher initiations. We're omnipresent. All of our previous lives represent the one that we're in. Yeah? So you don't have to run around and say, I'm this and I'm that. It comes through recapitulation. And those who are of the light and those who can see and those who can receive are part of that recapitulation. Yeah. But I am here, because we are in the worst possible situation. Yeah. I'm not here, for us to have a party, for us to think that this is all, all okay, and I'm not here to spout doom and gloom. But, I'm here to make the difference between us being a non-sacred planet and a sacred planet. Yeah. And this is the time that it would best serve you, to get this. If I was to wait, the 3,000 years that I was supposed to wait, and all of this had done, over with, and you would be going like crazy animals running around trying to figure out, why is the earth doing what it's doing? We can't run fast enough. The earth is shaking all the time, and the water is rising, and we're losing our homes, and it's over with. It's constant. This battle goes on and on and on. And if you didn't have me here, to help you through that process, your chaos in your process of reincarnation, in your process of trying to grow out of this, come out of this without losing anything. This is not going to devastate the world. This is not the outcome of an apocalypse. This is nature. It's just what happens. But if you're like Trump or other people and you can't see from the past, and be in the present and see from the past, and see the future and deal with this situation correctly. Because it's our ability to have that omnipresent in our initiations that gives us the strength to stand up to the circumstance without getting emotional. Because we just find that, everything falls apart. Everybody gets giddy. Everybody goes sixth ray. Everybody gets attached to things. It just goes crazy on you. So there's not really an outcome for us other than the fact that we have to open up our hearts into a second higher initiation and be able to make it through calamity, the worst calamity you can ever imagine. A whole changing of the earth. A whole changing of the earth. I mean, here we're thinking, oh, Grandpa was in L.A., 1918, and everything was like that. Da-da-da. Oh, really? That's when there was in L.A. That's when there was in New York. That's when there was a Florida. Isn't that something? You got pictures of that? Oh, yeah. We got pictures. We got video, And that's just not where we're going to come from. We're going to help this thing happen. We're going to minimalize. We have plenty of time between now and 2050, when the water goes up 3 to 10 feet. That's the beginning. That's when we realize, wow, we can't build walls around the United States, and we can't dike off the incoming water going into the lakes and going in down the rivers and filling up the inside of the United States. We can't, and all the floods in Mississippi and all the things that are disastrous because the water table was filled up. When the water goes up like this, so does the water table in land that you think is dry. Nothing's dry. There's water under everything. There's lakes all over the place, under the ground. And if the water table goes up, it goes up. So that means when water comes on the land, it's drenched. It becomes a lake. There's no place for the water to go anymore. It becomes a lake. So that's our destiny. We need to see this destiny as a good outcome. As a beautiful outcome. Because it'll lead us all into nature. It'll lead us all into, well, it's okay, they're taking the city. It's okay, taking it, bye-bye, New York. That it was interesting. Loved pizza. Loved pizza. Those pizza ovens on every block, good old days, But now in this ever-changing world, in our world, we're all great cooks. We know how to make that pizza in the best possible way. We live long, we live healthy, and we're intuitive, and we're guided by the Holy Spirit, and we're monks and nuns. Yeah, we have an enormous amount of understanding of what's going on in the world. That's the future. Yeah, but without this change of these first two initiations, transcending, and they're going to happen to people whether you like it or not. You're just going to take this outcome kicking and screaming and denying it's ever going to happen, and hold on to the land you have in Florida or some other coastline area, thinking, well, it's worth millions right now. Not for long. Just like Trump, he's got a multi-million-dollar operation there, but all it takes is one good flood, and nobody will go there. He can't go there. It's done. It's just mold, mildew, and water up to here in a marsh, which it used to be. Things will go back to that. Things will go back to the way they were, and worse. But not in the way, worse only because we want that land. Yeah? Because we have economy in our mind. We have ownership in our mind. Yeah? But this is going to take us to a place to where we realize, we're fucking lucky to be on the land, to be alive, to be living on this earth, an abundant, wonderful earth that it is. Yeah. But we need to be willing to move and not be stuck in our solar plex. Because if we're that sixth ray that we are today, then we're going to be like we are during the virus. Yeah. We're going to be holding people back from moving. We're going to be selling land that's our house, that we leave from because we know it's going to be flooded soon. Everybody tells us. But you're going to sell it to the first person who will buy it. And I'll keep going on for generation until some law or some conscience comes along. And that way you don't put people into danger for money. Because that is where we're going to go. We're doing that now. 3 Mile Island, other places that are toxic wastelands. We're selling to people. Letting people move back in right now on 3 Mile Island. I mean, really. So we have to develop minimalism and consciousness and not emotional aggravation processes. Yeah. We have to be willing to get up and move at any time. Yeah. Yeah. Because you never know. You never know. I mean, just like here, they say there's fires coming. You should get up and move. Yeah, you come back, you got no house. It's a hard life, but it's real. It's a real life, And what that did is nothing compared to floods entering into the whole United States, and there's no place for you to run. The freeways are flooded over. Everything is flooded over. Things don't work the way they used to. Yeah. So we are moved to minimalizing. Yeah. Moved to where we can live in a house that supports itself. We don't need a grid. We don't need all that stuff. As we move toward this minimalization, we can pick up and move our whole house. All the things in it, the solar, whatever, or move to another place, and it has solar and everything, because we're thinking in these ways that are more minimalizing, and that means because we're overshadowed by the Lord, because the Lord knows the future. Yeah. And if we don't let the Lord take charge of our life, then your bad karma and your emotional daily soap opera is going to kill your ass. And it's going to draw you into a karmic scenario, and your outcome is not going to be good. And your day-to-day life is not going to be all that good. Yeah? The only way you make that different is by transferring, while this Holy Spirit's coming into the planet, receive it. Yeah? And let it bring you up. And every single time an emotional situation comes up, where people are going through what they're going through, and it's not real. It's just emotional. And if you allow that to step into your process, you could lose an enormous amount of your own spiritual light. And leave you confused, and leave you embittered, and leave you, a lack of direction, questioning in your mind all the time. That's because your solar plexus turned upside down, and it's emotional, and it's looking at the past, and it's trying to control the future, and it has nothing to do with dharma or the will of God or the outcome of God, that you do not know what's going to be. That's really cool. I like that part. You don't know what God has in mind. And where I come from, all my experiences are that what God has in mind is better than what I have in mind. So I'm really happy to let go, let God. It just is harder. It's harder. Because God asks you to do things you would never, ever think of doing. It's so much harder. And then once you get into it, you've got to have the faith, you've got to have the patience to fulfill God's mission that God gave you. And you can't go lighthearted on it, and it can't be emotional or intellectual or anything like that, because every action of it is fulfilled by God. But you cannot take it personally. That's the first two initiations, and it's really difficult to pull those two first initiations off. But for us to have a good planet, because you just saw the whole planet is going to be affected by this. We lose India. We lose a major portion of China. We lose a lot of America. We lose places. Denmark, come on. Who wants to? I don't want to lose Denmark. But we're going to. We're going to lose the Netherlands. We're going to lose London, England. We're going to lose a lot of places. And it's natural. But if you're in an emotional state and you cannot discern and discriminate God's will, God's evolutionary natural process that God goes through in the process of keeping this planet alive, it has to go through its process. Because we're on this cycle, we're on a time cycle with energies that are so powerful. And it's not us, it's God. And we need to cooperate with God and know that God is working with a planet that has disastrous natural elements to it that are active. And God teaches us how to cooperate with that, how to deal with that, how to understand that, and gives us tools and technologies to survive during that. Imagine if we're dominated by coal and we're dominated by gas cars that we have to drive to go to the store to get the things we need. And we have to have a light that goes on, and we have to have that factory down there that's generating that electricity, and yet one day all that's gone. And what do? We go crazy. We think that we're in an apocalypse. We think that it's the end of the world, because we're all emotional. And yet God gives us everything it takes for us to get through this with no problem. None. This is your vehicle, this is your house, this is your location. Go to bed. Enjoy. Grow a crop, it'll work just fine, everything's great. Enjoy your life. And that's how things will work in the process of the initiations. And for us, we need to facilitate this process of the initiations so we don't go through this the other way, which is a mass anxiety of us in social destruction, fighting each other and battling over what way we should better deal with this thing that we don't believe is really happening. And it shocks us as it keeps happening. And we have fights with people who doesn't believe it's happening. I won't wear a mask. I won't move. I won't sell my land. I won't give up. Yeah, we got to get out of that. We have to. We have to help everybody do it. And the only way that works is that you have to do it by yourself. Yeah? You're your own healer. You're your own, you heal other people by healing yourself. You're not with God, so you don't know that we're all connected. And the only way this is done is through your meditation and your transfiguration of those elements of lower nature that create all these people out there to behave the way they do. And you don't realize that it's an emanation of yourself. Yeah? Because we are that. We're the caretakers. You know, whether it be animals or people, you are your brother's keeper. Yeah. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Yeah. All those things are a fact, but they're in the first and second initiation. Yeah. They actually make sense. Yeah. Because that's what we're doing. Mm-hmm. But we have to get to that point. You know, we have to move to that point. And we're going to. Yeah. But we have to clean up cities. Yeah. We have to clean up Seattle. We can't just let people sit there. Yeah. We have to grow. Yeah. I'm hoping over the next 2 years that what I'm doing today, which is feeding people and helping people and doing all that I'm doing, I'm helping over the next 2 years that I will get support. People will know my existence, know what I'm doing. And I will set up programs in every single city in the United States. And we will feed every single person, clothe every single person, and put every single person in a bed that's warm and comfortable. And no person would be without that. And I'm not going to leave it up to the government. I'm not going to leave it up to other people. Yeah? Yeah. We have the people to do this. Yeah. People who want to care and share and do the right thing, this is what you do. Yeah. You make a lot of food and you go out every single day and you find the people who have the need and you help them. Yeah. Then you go about your business, you know, you go back and do the same thing every single day. Yeah. And that will change the current of energy inside of people. Yeah. The more this grows, the more people are willing to pull this off. And this is not done by this is done by people over the next 2 years, by people who become monks and nuns. Yeah. People who have the tools and people who listen to the music and people who see what's going on and people who are moved by that and say, I want to do the same thing. And I'm willing to change my ways. I'm willing to give up alcohol. I'm willing to give up all these things that I find to be normal. Yeah. Yeah. And once they're gone, you know, and you're doing things like this, you know, we will change the earth. Because it's by feeding people that things change. Yeah. It's not by politics. It's not by pushing people into this belief system or this religion or anything. It's by caring, by sharing, by feeding, by prasadam, by getting it to people who need it. Yeah. And the lowest of the lows are people who are sleeping on the street. Yeah. And when we get to Seattle, I speak with all the government and change this whole thing. You know, let's get these people off the street. Let's bring them in. Let's open up a whole great big community center that allows these people a place to live and get off of drugs and make it illegal for them to have drugs. Make it illegal for us to support them to have drugs. Yeah? And make it legal for us to take them off the street. Yeah? Because you can do that to crazy people. You can do that to people who are emotionally insane, people who are these people. Yeah? It is our responsibility to intervene into their life and save them. It's our responsibility. Yeah? There's no liberation in allowing a person to commit suicide and go to hell. Yeah? Just because it seems to be easier and as though, as an experiment, these people will work their way back into life. Yeah. And that's just not how it's done. And in my work, I'm going to make sure that from the very bottom, we work this out. I'm not interested in, rich people and how, or Elon Musk, and how he can best make his next technique and technology and make his big bucks. I'm much more interested in him maybe sharing and caring, giving a little, rather than saying, I'm going to move out of California. I hate California. It's taking all my money, all this stuff. I'm more interested in people caring and sharing, and giving to us as a responsibility of people, masses of people in the United States who are capable and willing to help other people. Just helping other people, getting them off the street, giving them clothes, give them months and months and months of consistent daily help without, any dogma or anything like that. It's that prasadam that affects the psychic energy in witchcraft. You have no idea that the whole process of witchcraft is to create a whole elemental disfigured characteristic in people to not care and to commit to making people fall. Creating cults or creating any kind of thing that is totally in a glamour, and it just wipes people down the tube. That's witchcraft. And these are the outcome of that tube. These are the outcome of this kind of thought form, reality of, this is how we want to take over the city. How we want to get rid of the police. How we want to free up law so that we can just live the life that we want to live. There has to be a complete transformation in all areas, and there's very few people who are willing to walk into that scenario and knows what to do and change it and heal it. And I do. So that's where I want to be, in those areas, in those processes, and help people get to that. And in that, we will keep these people from filling up hell. That's important, people. How many souls do you want to send to hell this year? The coronavirus, you're dying alone, you're suffocating, you're seeing Satan, you're in the worst possible dying scenario you could ever imagine. And how many souls are we gonna willfully allow to go to hell like that? Because dying that way means you're going to come back with so many neurotic, compulsive, disfigured realities in your existence, in your makeup. It happens to anybody. Everybody who dies, if you're shot in the arm, if you're shot in the back of the head, and you have these things happen, you have scars. You have things that you can see physically on the person that directly relate to how they died in their previous life. Burns, scars, wounds, all kinds of things. And that goes emotional, mental, and the physical. So we're not free. We're not liberated. The only way we get that way is through God. You have to go through God. You got to. And if you're going to go through God, then this is what you got to do. You got to care, you got to share, and you got to control your emotions. If you control your emotions, you can help those cities work faster, because it's all thought form building. Everything is thought form building. And if we do this now, we radiate this way, over the next year or so, things are going to be moving more and more in Shambhala and toward the betterment of the initiations on planet Earth. And over the next couple of years, there's going to be an externalization in that process of people, large masses of people who want to go into the Sangha. Change their entire life. Move themselves into service. And it won't happen until after support has come in and I could begin saying, okay, we're going to set up Dharma centers in every major city. because we have the money and I have the people. And after a year or so, they're being trained and, living in Shambhala and having the experience of healing and finding peace and, knowing what it's like to be in the Sangha, and then go off to a Dharma center. Every single member in the Sangha did that. Yeah. I set up Dharma centers all over the United States, and they go there and they served. Yeah. So this is the next stage, to where before it was like, we don't even want you here. We don't like you. Yeah. Get out of here. Even your relatives told you that. Yeah. I mean, it was not easy. Yeah. Because I'm an initiate. I'm a major initiate. Yeah. But I initiate other people to wake up and move toward the same light. Yeah. But in the beginning, it's treachery. There's no friends out there. Your family don't like you. They don't like me especially, and, they'll throw you in jail if you stay too close to me. It's a very, very, very strange outcome in this world. And we're now coming into that next phase where people are healed enough, and their ability to become monks and nuns and move into service and facilitate people who are poor, who have no food. It's getting worse out there, right? And if anybody's going to do it, it's me. I've been doing it since I was a child. I can show you video of my brother telling people that, ever since I was really young, I was feeding people on the street. I would go to houses and feed people. I'd collect oranges and go to every house and give people oranges. I'd do everything to make things better for people. Yeah. And you need to do that. That's your conscience. Yeah. You should know your neighbors intuitively, telepathically. Yeah. But that's you have to raise yourself up the scale of being not selfish, not having those karmic scenarios, those emotional melodramas that go on with your personality. Those completely violate your ability to be intuitive, to lose your senses. Your hearing senses are connected to a higher sense. Your eyes are connected to a higher sense. Your taste is connected to a higher sense. Your smell is connected to a higher sense. Your touch is connected to a higher sense. All those things are mundane things compared to the higher sense of each of those things. You do not get to experience those things unless you're kind. Does that make sense? And the other way is that if that doesn't happen, then the things you smell, you're afraid of. You're not really sure. You can't really tell the difference between one thing and another. The things you taste. How many people cook? How many people can cook real well? How many people can smell what they're cooking? How many people can taste what they're cooking without tasting it? If you're really good and you're intuitive and you have an open heart, and you have these senses that are more intuitive than they are physical, then you have a strong desire to smell it, taste it, use your senses, in order to give a blessing to this thing, knowing that it's working out the right way. And if you do cooking, you're developing your senses. It's not just about eating. Eating's, everybody can do that. But cooking requires you to develop your senses. I know a lot of people who cook, but their senses suck. They burn everything, they overcook, it has no flavor. It's just gray meat. How do you make gray meat? But good job. It just comes out like that. Don't know why. And those are senses. Everything is a direct relationship of thought form building, comes out of your elements. And we can have a better world, a beautiful world, if we have sharing and caring. Just those two things, sharing and caring. So my work is to try and move people through the next couple of years to initiate the sponsorship of facilitating Dharma centers around the United States, and to move people into higher consciousness through soul therapy, and feed everybody who doesn't have any food, and take care of people who doesn't have a home. And can you imagine, in the next year, the numbers that are homeless today will be tripled. That's why I'm in this move. That's why I'm here. That's why I do things in the timing that I do things. I don't plan anything out. I react, I respond, I carry out the situation. Yeah. There's times when you can't do it. There's times when you have to do it. Yeah. And we're moving into that situation. Yeah. And what we see in Seattle is nothing compared to what we're going to see in 3 years. It'll be so much devastation, so much lack of ability of... Right now, they're thinking of giving only $600 after people waited a half a year or more for another $600. I mean, really? And then the president goes, well, I want to give $2,000, but I need to have my name on the check. Yeah? Yeah, I don't like giving a check of $600 because they're not going to really go thank you. But if they get a $2,000 check, they're going to go real big thank you to me, and it might be part of a historical scenario. Yeah, not like it's important to give these people more money, but it's important that he goes out looking like a hero. Yeah, yeah, so there isn't anything that shouldn't have been done, over the last 6 months, over the last year. All the things were kept from being done. Everything was slowed in inertia. Everything was put the way it was. And there was no way anybody could change the outcome of what was going on. Yeah? Because the energy of the Dark Lodge was involved in the outcome of people making decisions. They were much more emotional or in a state of inertia. I'll wait and see what happens kind of thing. Yeah? So we have, in our situation, we have an extreme time limit scenario, yeah? And people are going to be in a process over the next 5 years in their wake-up process, yeah? Because this is going to increase. What I'm doing, imagine that, I'm here and I'm doing this and I do it for 70 years, and it lays down a pattern of light onto the earth, yeah? And that pattern of light grows the earth. Yeah, it's called the central spiritual sun. When I'm on the earth, I provide the central spiritual sun. And that means that I provide a light to the earth. Yeah, it's not the sun anymore. That's not as important as what comes from the central spiritual sun. Because the central spiritual sun changes the genetic relationship of everything that's living on the earth. So it makes it more able to make it through hazardous conditions. Yeah, hardships, yeah, circumstances that are out of your control, so much pollution, so much things that are going on, yeah. The central spiritual sun brings in a certain vitality inside of people that makes them consciously aware that they themselves are self-regenerating, self-healing, yeah, and that they can take on certain responsibilities, things that they need to do, and it's becoming only from the central spiritual sun. And that's the soul. Yeah? Yeah. But that soul literally goes into the earth. It permeates the earth. It goes against the karma that's built up into this earth. Yeah? The wars, the processes, the greed, yeah? The generation after generation of pollution. Yeah? And the ongoing process of using greed to create pollution, to create wars. Yeah? That imperils our ability to ever become initiates, because we're focused into becoming members of cults. Yeah? And as that goes on, the earth dies. Yeah? And the vitality of the earth and everything that goes on in the earth. So all these things happen, yeah, but humanity is unable to take care of it. Yeah? Because the vitality that's in the earth is also degenerating. People's getting more emotional doing what they're doing. Yeah. So the only thing that changes this is the central spiritual sun. It vitalizes, even atheists, it vitalizes the influence of matter. So matter goes from being imperiled, yeah, which is, we think everything could die, yeah, where in the central spiritual sun, nothing dies. Yeah, trees don't die. Insects actually don't die. That whatever they are, they live as spirit. And they are what they are. And that energy exists. And we can feel that energy. We're a part of that energy. Doesn't matter what animal, plant, or whatever it is, it has a spirit that continues forever. Yeah? And then we're not aware of that. Yeah? But we're going to get to be aware of that, because the senses are going to grow inside of people when these things heal. Yeah? So over the next 5 years, the process of being able to heal that has to do with changing how we react to our mental state. Yeah? And our mental state has a tendency to look back at ourselves and think we have a fault, and then amplify that as a thought form. Yeah? And think these things are the cause due to my thought form. Yeah? And that's the same thing this person's doing too. Yeah? And everybody thinks everybody's doing that, but it's not true. Yeah? People really don't have that power, but they have that delusion. And it creates an illusion because they're all thinking the same thing. So that alludes to this being a real reality, that we're all suffering from this, but yet we're not. It's a delusion. Yeah? And that delusion is created only out of the emotional body, like a crying baby or a hurt dog or something that's in pain and suffering. That's the emotional body. And you imagine when you're in that, you never really want to be treated the way you should be treated, because you're over-exaggerated, you're over the top, and you're upset, you're everything, yeah? That's because your vitality is low, and you're going to have these lower natures coming out like that, yeah? You know, so over the next 3 or 4 years, the influence of what we're going to go through is more about the influence of us healing from that energy that we don't know is a fact or real or anything like that. But that energy is what is in these people that are suffering. And all the people that are suffering from going through the coronavirus, and all the people who said it doesn't exist and then they get it, and then they have to go, oh no, I killed all these people, or I moved all these people to thinking it doesn't exist, or maybe even get to a point to where they still don't believe it, like Trump. Yeah. But he's a hardcore idiot. He's like a block of stone. Yeah. There's no way of changing that. He's set. So he's going to be this way for quite a while. So the main thing is that you don't want to get in its way. It's just going to continue rolling. And if you're in its way, it's going to roll right over you. And then you're going to be part of it, and that stone gets bigger. And the wheel gets bigger, and it seems to take more form. Yeah, but all it is your ability to be, angry at it, or think that it's this or that. Yeah, and he is just a lunar lord who's using people's souls to get under his shoes, to get under him, to support him. To give him, a mega thing, make America great, Well, to him, he is what makes America great. But he can't make America great unless you believe in him. And it's the believing in him that makes America great, according to him. That's what makes America great. So this is all about building up lunar lords at the last moment. People that are nuts. People that are, whether they be your politician or your employer or your mom, your dad, your uncle, anybody. Our process when we are awakened in this side is that we start getting the ability to discern, and these people no longer can masquerade who they really are. So now they're being overshadowed by God to say and do things that makes them judged. Yeah? So that they can't just walk away and have other people do the evil thing and them not get busted for it. They actually have to do the evil thing now. Yeah? And that's where Trump's at. That's where all the people are at, in the process of not being able to cover up their illusion by lies, by deceiving, by getting people to believe in a conspiracy or whatever. All those things are part of that. Left-hand spin is in our emotional body. Yeah. So triggering that and helping that to be healed is the only way that we can make it through when we get to 2050, which is going to be really quite a process. Yeah. Imagine 10 years from now, if this goes up 3 feet, just 3 feet. Yeah. Water going up 3 feet. That's the end of Trump's property, right? He's going to have to build a wall, his own island, all the way around this thing. And it's got to be like a swimming pool, so nothing can get in it, and just higher and higher and higher as the years go by, and he'll be the only one there that's got that because he's the richest man on earth. Everybody else, I don't care. It's my island now. That's going to be our Trump, and we'll just watch that, But it's the way it's going to be. How are we going to deal with this? And we're going to deal with this by the lunar lords being judged. Yeah? And by him coming through his process and doing all this, we're going to bring back faucets that are right. We're going to bring back solar that's big. We're going to bring back electric cars and end coal manufacturing and do all this kind of stuff. But what's really going to come back and is going to begin is the first 2 initiations massively inside of humanity. Yeah. So that process, we need to be open to the reality, of giving service, being in service and understanding that life is service. Life isn't about, accomplishing a goal of being the richest person or being the best doctor or being the best anything. Life is service. I know, I could be doing anything, it could be easy, in this life, really easy. Yeah. But I'm Jesus. Yeah. And I know how things really go. And God has a full and complete pressure process at higher initiations. Yeah. So there's no real way out of it. Yeah. None. Yeah. And you just get into the 3rd initiation and it's tough, and on this earth and being the fact that I'm coming into what they call, a 10th initiation, 70 years is 10 initiations. Yeah. And that no one's ever had a 10th initiation on this planet. So just by me hanging out, doing what I'm doing, is the activity of a 10th degree initiate. Yeah. And that affects the planet in ways where lunar lords can't exist on a planet that has a 10th degree initiate. Can't do it. They're having a hard enough time with a 7th degree initiate, an 8th degree initiate, a 9th degree initiate, which I have been, and all the initiations all the way up to now. And I make it harder and harder and harder for this world to exist in evil, as my initiations go out. But after a while, those initiations become imprints inside of humanity. And humanity can feel the sense of auspiciousness that comes with being with God. And having a whole life, many lives, that are destined to just be in service with God and see people saved. See people in hell and be the person who pulls them up and brings them out and watch them change. You don't heal them, I do. Yeah. But the process works so dramatic, yeah, that it's hard for a person to go, I'd rather be doing hair. I'd rather be a plumber. I'd rather be working for the internet. I'd rather be a homeopath. I don't care what it is your intellectual mind thinks you'd rather be. The only thing you really are is a child of God. And you got to stop coming from the animal to the human and having animal characteristics. You have to let go of that. And all of this process of territory imperative and delusions of grandeur and all of that comes out of the animal kingdom. Yeah. So we really have no connection to these characteristics. None. They're not in our makeup. Yeah. So it's a really easy transfiguration, stepping into the angel that you are, rather than thinking that you're a reincarnated monkey. Yeah? And you're not. Never have been, never will be. Yeah? Yeah? But that is what we have to dematerialize. Yeah? And that's how it works. All right, so let's pray. Okay, repeat after me. Lord Jesus the Christ, thank you for bringing me here. Lord Jesus the Christ, I open my heart today. I invite you to come inside. Lord Jesus the Christ, come save my life. Receive me today as a child of God, and write my name in the book of life. I give myself to you, my spirit, my soul, my body. Receive me, Jesus the Christ. Now, the devil, the blood of Jesus the Christ is against you. I command you now to leave me. I do not belong to you. I am God's property. Leave my life. I disassociate myself from you. I renounce every evil covenant. I have entered in with you. In the name of Jesus the Christ, I have received salvation. I am a child of God. Amen. So it's really important. Every single living human being says this. Yeah? Every single living human being is an angel. Yeah? And unless they go back to God, they're a fallen angel. And it'll always be that way. And unless you help them, they will suffer for eternity. Yeah? You know, even if 5 lives is a life they spend in Satan's world, you know, and then finally they come out of it, that's like an eternity. Every day is so long. Yeah? You're hopeless. You're without anything. Yeah? No light. Nobody loves you. Nobody cares for you. Yeah. Yeah. So this is important. Yeah. And you don't just go up to someone and say, have you met the Lord? Do you know the Lord? Has he saved you yet? You know? Yeah. Be kind. Just be kind. Just be kind. Yeah. And if you're a monk or a nun, they'll probably ask you things about God. Yeah. And you pull out your card. Yeah. If you have a first conversation with a person, you pull out the card and just say, you know, we do this prayer. Would you like it? You know, it's not a shock. It's not, you know, you're a priest or a monk or a nun. You know, but that's as far as it has to go. Yeah. The other side is kindness. The other side is, if they're without food, you go get them something to eat. Yeah. If they're without proper clothing, you go back and give them some clothing. Yeah. If they're standing on a corner and you happen to be moved by God to be at that corner, reach into your pocket and give that person something. Because it's Jesus standing there. Yeah. There's not a person in the world that's not an emanation of the Lord, not a child of God. Yeah. And if you continue treating people this way, you're doing it to God. It's not people, it's God. People are more than what you think. Whether they got snot running down their nose and their eyes are fully blood red, you know, and their hair is falling out and matty and they're ugly and everything, they're still God. Yeah. It's just God in disguise, suffering. Yeah. You know, like that song, "What if God was amongst us?" Yeah. Yeah. You know, so that's how monks and nuns are supposed to live. That's what I try and get mine to understand. You know, and that being able to give people the understanding that all you need to do is denounce Satan and receive Jesus. Yeah. Do those two things. Yeah. And do this, say it all. Yeah. And give them kindness. Yeah. Yeah. Because Satan is there all the time to tell them there is no love, no compassion, no one cares. Stand up for yourself. It's doggy dog. Yeah. No one knows if you lie. It doesn't matter. All that kind of shit is really big and consistent. And these people at the very bottom of the run are hearing that and feeling it, and they're crazy with it, insane with it. And really all they need is kindness. Consistent kindness. Yeah. And then when their mind clears, you hand them a prayer. Yeah. And you keep telling them, this is from Jesus, enjoy. This is from Jesus. And I really am here. Yeah. And if you're doing this work for me, you really do tell them, this is from the reincarnation of Jesus. He knows you're here, and he knows you want this, and he's going to give it to you. Yeah. It's no longer, pie in the sky, wait till you get to heaven, Jesus will take care of you. Yeah. This is here on earth now. And we need to help people get to that point, because that's how we get from getting people from the probationary into the first initiation. Is by literally being kind, using what we have received, and pay it forward. Give these people that light, And, the more you're a monk and a nun, the more, going out and doing this service isn't an obligation, isn't a disservice to your lifestyle that you would rather be living than being out in the cold handing out sandwiches and boots and socks and shoes and sleeping bags and tents and all the things that we do. Yeah. And there needs to be more people to do that. And there will be. Yeah. Yeah. But it really is a matter of healing this aspect of it. So I entered this prayer into the Sangha, so that, when we're doing this, we can Send it out. Give it to people and let people receive that. And you need to know for sure in your heart that who you are in relationship with is Jesus the Christ. Yeah. And I'm here for a special reason, to save you. And that this needs to be saved. Yeah. And Satan exists. Yeah. And Satan doesn't create the havoc on earth. But how we cope with it is what God is involved with. God helps us through the process of the natural things that happen in life. Illnesses, sicknesses, hardship, accidents, things like that. We are in a creative womb with God in order to help protect us and then take care of us when something happens. You know, we're well anointed in the process of what could be done correctly. Yeah. And that's where those initiations will lead to. From feeding people, to helping people, to getting people to build homes, to getting people to fund building a large monastery that's a big temple, all brand new, really nice, great big pyramid that thousands of people can sit in daily and pray and receive an enormous blessing. Yeah. And say prayers to Jesus. Yeah. This is where things are moving. And that's, we get to that when we get to the second initiation. The first initiation is just even the possibility of doing it. Not being hostilely, treated when we go build a Dharma center and we start feeding people and helping people and all the neighbors and everybody comes out and spits on us and kicks us and calls us the devil. All the time, yeah, so, but I still say, keep it up. Tell them that you're working for Archangel Michael. Tell them that you're working for God. And know that I'm telling you the truth. And stand there and let them tell you you're working with Satan and that this is the evil. I hate you. I won't want you in the building. I won't allow you in town. That happens, with all the people that we come into over previous last 20 years. Yeah. But that is all transmuted now. Yeah. And now everybody's receiving blessings. Yeah, everybody's receiving blessings. And all the people that everybody thought was on the low side is now coming into the high side. Yeah. And they're clearer and they're better. We're healing and helping people in Glastonbury, and now they're walking around with big smiles, very grounded, wearing nice clothing, well, that I gave them, but they look great, yeah? And they're healthy, they're clean, their mind is clear, yeah? And we listen to them every day. They think and they say things and they are clear. And the same thing in Omaha and the same place in Kathmandu. Yeah, we're healing large masses of people that are in the worst possible conditions in their society, and they're getting healed. Yeah, so that in effect is why we need to give these prayers to people, because while they're being healed is when they could receive God. Not while they're being tortured. It's just impossible. Bless them first. Yeah, anoint them. Yeah. Thank them for being here. Yeah. Yeah. Because God brought them to you. Yeah. It's the Son of God sitting there. All wrinkly and old. A little old lady. If you've ever studied anything about Maitreya, you would find that Maitreya is everything. Maitreya is a dog. Yeah. Maitreya is a bird. A chicken. Yeah. Maitreya is a fish. Yeah. Comes in the form of a fish. Yeah. Comes in the form of a very old lady. Yeah. Comes in the form of a very old man. Yeah. Comes in all forms. Yeah. At any given moment. Overshadowing, manifesting into an immediate moment where that person, that dog, that fish, that cat, becomes a transmission of Maitreya. Because Maitreya is everything. And Maitreya can use everything to bless. Everything. Yeah? And that story goes all the way back to a Sangha. And Sangha was one of the first people to come in contact with Maitreya, and everybody else was praying and doing ceremonies and offerings to have some form of contact with Maitreya, the future Buddha. And he went through everything to change all of his vices and all of his anger and all of his fear, all of his paranoia, day by day by day by day by day. But he didn't really change, but he kept doing it. He was consistent. And after a while, Maitreya appears, but it doesn't appear in the form of a person, in the form of an old lady, or form of a dog, Yeah, and he's like, you got to go up to that dog and you got to pick all those little maggots off of it with your teeth. You got to do that as Sangha. And he goes, no, I'm not going to do that. And he can hear Maitreya telling him, you got to do that. If you're going to be compassionate, if you're going to be empathetic, you have to take care of that animal right now. And it's not going to hurt you, trust me. And he's, no, I won't do it, And he goes down, gets his teeth down there, and all of a sudden it turns into Maitreya. Thank you, Asanga, thank you very much. And then Asanga goes, but no one will ever believe me that you exist. No one ever will believe that you're here with me, talking to me. And he goes, just stick me on your shoulders and walk me through town. So he does, and he's got an old dead dog on his shoulders, Everybody, that's what they see, He's got this old dead dog sitting on his shoulders. But really, and in his mind, it's Maitreya. Hi, everybody, hi, Yeah. So in that influence, he's learning that Maitreya is everything. Maitreya is not what we expect to be just a human being, but an omnipresent entity that is the Mahadeva. And the Mahadeva is responsible for insects, responsible for rocks, is a rock, is a mountain, is a earth, is a solar system, is a cosmos, is everything. So everything you meet, you have to bring it into kindness. Because that way you bring Maitreya into it. That everybody's is that kindness. That's what Maitreya means. Does that make sense? And if you're going to be anything with me, you have to be kind. And you have to be kind to other people. And you have to be kind to yourself. Kindness is everything. So, but it's, so it is that third initiation that creates the ability for everybody to move out of their hate or their anger or their suspicion and everything that has to do with a lack of kindness. Because by the time that third initiation comes around, everybody has transformed from not being a child of God into being an active, awakened child of God who takes incarnation after incarnation, gets jobs, activities, and gets blessings from all the life cycle that is brought about through the life of Maitreya. The life of kindness. Everything is Maitreya. We are in a time that this is the new Buddha field. This is where we're all about. Christ, Maitreya, We're all going into Christ consciousness. We're all going into the body of the Christ. The Christ enters your body. You enter Christ's body. We all realize this is something that's true. This is something that's real. And we can't leave it in a place where we think, anybody is outside of that. It has to come to that place. And then we bring the person to an understanding. We give them blessings, we give them consciousness, we give them understanding. So it's in the third initiation, when we come to that place, we're at a place where there are temples, and people are feeding people. We've already gone through the first two initiations, and we facilitated people to be in the right place at the right time. So building mass temples, not just Dharma centers. Dharma centers is different than a temple, Dharma centers are in cities, in communities where people live. Yeah. Temples are in the mountains, you know, in the forest, you know, in a desert, you know, places where it is there for the kingdoms, all the kingdoms, not just humanity. And that way it offers people, when they go to the temple, to become caretakers of the kingdoms, not just humanity. It's for personal and planetary healing. And when you become monk and nun, you're actually actively working in the area of planetary healing. But you got to get that shit out of your personality. Yeah? Make sense? All right. So now let's do puja. Okay, just close your eyes. And I'll say take a deep breath, and then we'll begin the Om.
Bring illumination to mankind. Let the spirit of peace be spread abroad. May humanity of goodwill everywhere meet in a spirit of cooperation. May forgiveness on the part of all mankind be the keynote at this time. Let power attend the efforts of the great ones. So let it be, and help us do our part. Let the Lords of Liberation issue forth. Let them bring secure to the sons of mankind. Let the rider in the secret place come forth. And come say, come forth, Almighty One. Let the souls of mankind awaken to the light.
How's that?
And may they stand with massed intent.
Okay, take
Let the fiat of the Lord go forth. The end of the woe has come. Come forth, Almighty One. The hour of service of the saving force has now arrived. Let it be spread abroad, Almighty One. Let light and love and power and death fulfill the purpose of the coming one. The will to save is here. The love to carry forth the work is widely spread abroad. The active aid of all who know the truth is also here. Come forth, Almighty One, and blend these three. Construct a great defending wall. The rule of evil now must end. light within the mind of God. Let light stream forth into the minds of mankind. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of mankind. May Christ return to earth. From the center, where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, a purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center, which we call the race of mankind, let the plan of love and light work out. And may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. The sons of men are one, and I am one with them. I seek to love, not hate. I seek to serve and not exact due service. I seek to heal, not to hurt. Let pain bring due reward of light and love. Let the soul control the outer form, and let life and all events and bring forth to light the love which underlies the happenings of the time. Let vision come in insight. Let the future stand revealed. Let inner union demonstrate and outer cleavage be gone. Let love prevail. Let all mankind love.
Okay, open your eyes and relax. So over the next 100,000 years or so, you're going to have me around, and I'm pretty consistent. You may have other ideas, but mine never change. I work in a very specific way. If people witnessed me back in the 90s, they saw that I went to Kathmandu, I meet the people, I go to the monasteries, and then I begin a process of bringing food. I fix their kitchen, I make it possible for them to cook, I give them a place to store food, I provide all the children with clothing and all the old monks with clothing. I get them all new beds. And I do this for them for the rest of their life. And I did the same thing in Maitreya Vihar. I did the same thing in Drepung. At many, 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 many monasteries. You know, I drill water for them if they needed water. I buy tanks for them if they needed to store water. And they didn't have to ask me. That's me. It's not you. It's me. You would think of other ways. You would think of ways to save money. And it's sad, but it's true. I never think of ways to save money. This is about God. God is everything. Yeah. If you trust me and do exactly as I do, and there's nothing outside of it. You know, I'm not a major religious figure. I'm a good doer. Yeah. I do good. Yeah. I radiate kindness and I do kindness. And I carry it out exactly the same way. In the 1970s, I got out of the military. I immediately began feeding the hungry. Established myself in a place where they all went to give blood at a plasma center. And I started working there so that I can be in contact with all the homeless people on a daily basis. And when they were done, I had a sandwich for them. I had an orange or an apple for them. I made one of the closets into a shower and a bathroom, you know, so that they all had the ability to go take a shower and go into another room and select clothes. And all the clothes they left behind, I took to a laundromat and washed. Yeah, brought them back. And I offered back to those people the same clothes, all clean and everything, because maybe they liked those clothes. And most of the time they did. But I've been doing this all the time. Yeah. If I meet someone, yeah, when I first met Tara, you know, she was in a not a very good situation, you know, didn't have money, didn't have a place to sleep that night, didn't have money to buy food, you know. She was at a show trying to learn good things, do good things, you know, and I happened to be there, you know, and and just has no way of eating, nowhere to sleep. Before the night was done, I had taken her to get us something to eat, gave her money to do for the next day, and took her to a place so she'd have a bed. Yeah, got her a hotel room. Yeah, and there was little Sophia, you know. Yeah, and she, you know, she was so she loved me so much. All she could ever say is, "Maitreya, are you okay? Maitreya, are you okay? Everything okay with you? Yeah, are you okay? You sure? Yeah, yeah, because there's kindness in everybody. Yeah, and it just is the way it is. And no matter who I meet, that is how it works. You know, if you have a need, I will bring it out of you, and I will help you get that need before I leave. Yeah, there's nobody in my family, nobody that I know personally that suffers. Yeah, I provide for every single person I know. Yeah, my family, my sister, everybody, aunts, uncles, yeah, anybody who has a need, I make sure that they're taken care of. People who choose not to be in the Sangha, I keep making sure that they're taken care of. Yeah, that's the way of the Dharma. It's the way it works. It's not about religion or dogma or something like that. It's about real kindness. And you literally have to build it up because you think you got all these other things you need to do. But in truth, you need your senses. You need to have a conscience. It needs to guide you. And you need to see other people suffering. And you need to do something about it. Yeah. And God takes you there to take care of it. Yeah. Yeah. So don't take it any other way. Yep. All right. So enjoy. Thank you very much for coming.